Hey, do you know the difference in a meeting between the leader and the moderator? Well, that's really like a huge thing. Sometimes this job is collapsed together and somebody is like leading the meeting and moderating it. But imagine there's like a team of people. There's like a boss, a project manager, or like the manager of the whole thing. You know, it could be a department or anything. That person is like the official leader. Yeah, but should that person now also do all this moderating job? No, because if you want to have effective meetings, and especially in an environment where people train and learn, and especially communication, no, absolutely not. Because the leader has a very, very important job, and it's not about talking. It's about listening to the people, like looking, what is like the objective of the meeting? Where are we going? What is this kind of stuff? So there's like lots and lots of things the leader has to be thinking about. So the leader is actually like taking stuff in, and people are talking and so on. So it's a very important thing. It's like, you're like when you're driving a car, there's one person driving, that's like the moderator, and then there's like the person who's maybe doing all the navigation. We want to go from A to B, and then there's a traffic jam. How do we go around this? What is like, do we have to like eat and food and fuel and whatever, there's all these things that the person is thinking about. The driver shouldn't be like fiddling around with a navigation system all the time. That can be done by the leader, yeah. And the other person is just focusing on really driving. This is like the moderator. He's taking care of, the moderator is taking care of how the meeting is going. That there is an agenda. The agenda is like really the responsibility of the leader to prepare it and like get people on board and so on. But the moderator is just taking care of, we have the meeting now and saying like, okay, I have like, this is our plan for the meeting. You're doing time slots. Like, for example, you give Thomas like 5 minutes to talk about something or like discuss something or whatever. That's already in the agenda. So when you have like an hour planned or 45 minutes planned or whatever you plan for the time, you just want to start and finish. And you want to have some spare time where, not everything should be planned. You should have like 25 to 30%. You need spare time, for any other business, discussions and so on, overruns, because you want to finish really on time as you want to start on time. But the whole, how this is running is done by the moderator, not by the leader. Because, let's face it, my mental capacity isn't really that big. If I'm like leading a meeting, I'm the like responsible guy for the whole meeting. I need to focus on some areas, yeah? And I can't just take care of all these things like driving the meeting. Like, for example, if you are on a Zoom, it's an online meeting, you want to have people raising their hand, you even have to tell somebody to not jump in between, or you, as a moderator, maybe decide. But as moderator, you are like also like a referee, you are not so much involved in that the outcome is like this or this. It's like really, there should be processes and the moderator is following them. Like, for example, writing some, agenda, having minutes of meeting, these kind of things. So who's raising their hand, you pick the order, you tell them, okay, Thomas is talking, then this one is talking, and so on. And then, like, if Thomas is talking too long, cut him down and say, Thomas, it's too long, there's time, the others want to talk as well, and so on. So you have to like really manage people, and not about their content, but about following the process. Hey, you have 30 seconds now, for example, or after 30 seconds, okay, thank you, the others want to say something as well. So you have to train them. If like if you have like two people like doing things in a meeting which isn't productive, stop it, and tell them, hey, you guys have to talk about this, because you're like, if you have somebody like, you said this and I said that and you told blah, 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 and these guys are going back in a history of something, stop it, Like, for example, what I learned in project management, if you have a project team and something goes wrong, and have you ever heard that you are in a project meeting, something wrong, there's a failure of anything, some people ask the question, whose fault is it? You know what? That discussion, you have to kill immediately as a moderator and also as a leader, because that's going in a direction where you don't want to have it. Yeah? That's like where that might be a valid question for the moderator, but as a leader, you have to cut this short. Like you just say 2 or 3 sentences, one sentence, dead, nowhere to go, because you don't want to do this right now. But you have a situation, that's your objective. The next question is what to do next. And then you can install a lessons learned process later and find out, okay, why actually did it go wrong and these kind of things. Yeah? But whose fault it is? Not a good question. Not a good question. So, for example, there is a very good video. You should be looking at this. It's absolutely fantastic. Game of Thrones, and there is I think the Small Council or so, and then there's Tywin Lannister. Tywin Lannister is a guy really serious, and you can see who in this video is actually the one who is leading the whole thing. And that person is actually Tywin Lannister, the hand of the king. It's just only in the end saying something, and then the whole meeting goes in that direction. He's just saying very little. He's not the moderator of the whole thing. He's the leader of the whole thing. What I say. Watch it. It's really and it's with Joffrey, and and I think he says something like the king is tired. Show him to his quarters. That's all. That was leadership. And that's not he's not one in the meeting who's talking most. So the leader of the meeting, is setting up things, is defining what you're doing, what will be the outcome of the meetings, and working together with other people who put their inputs in and what you want to achieve. But then the whole technical part of the meeting, it's the driver of the meeting is the moderator, the one who's deciding how the meeting should be going. What are the parts of the agenda? That's actually the leader. That's the navigator. That's when you're on the co-pilot seat. You're not talking so much there. If you're really good, you don't need to talk much. You can of course also lead your opinion. Even it's especially problematic if you have authority. That's the problem of when you are for example, you are a senior manager. You have authority over people to actually tell them what to do. And if you are then moderating a meeting, it's always going in the direction you want, but that's not empowering people. And the good thing about this job of moderating, anybody can do it. You should be even, switching it around. If you have a team of, let's say, 10 people, everybody can do this, every now and then. You just decide who's doing. Maybe you have one person who's really good at the job, who could do that more often, or jump in and when the one who's just doing it right now isn't performing. But it's a very good job how to learn moderation and leading a meeting, but the real leader should be doing this. The real leader can also do it also for that training, but then it's really I'm just now in the role of a moderator, not of the leader, because that's really the problem. As the leader, you are involved in the outcomes. And it makes your life as a leader absolutely more simple if you have somebody who's doing the technical part of driving, of moderating a meeting. So if you do in your projects, you do meetings, especially online meetings, take this. Thank you very much for watching. Please follow the channel.